Hi, I'm Rosemary Painter. Welcome to my creativity room. I'm going to chat a little bit here, see if we see any people showing up for this video. Hopefully y'all can hear me. Make sure my mic is on. Yep, looks like I've got a green light there. We've been working on making an outfit, American Girl doll outfit, and we're specifically working on C, and it's McCall's Crafts pattern M6526 for anybody who's interested in trying to do this themselves. Earlier this week, we made a little capri pant part of this outfit. And tonight we're going to be working on the top. It's the little shirt that's underneath this little jumper. I think they call it a cami. I'm not totally up to all the terminology, but it looks like we had somebody here. Let's go ahead and get started on this. Something I'd be very interested in knowing, quite a few have been following my shorts where I do little parts of it and post it. I'd like to know if you enjoy having like a full live video for this sewing, or if you would like the shorts the best, where I just post portions of the process. But we'll go ahead and get started here, and we'll see if we get any people joining us in the live video, and let's go ahead and start. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start on connecting the front, and I'm going to turn this down so you can see my work area. We're going to start by connecting the front to the back. Let's go ahead and remove our pins. So the front is a solid piece, you can see. And one thing you have to be really careful of when you're doing a sewing project like this is making sure that you sew the correct sides of the fabric together. In other words, you'll end up with some of it inside out, and that's never any fun. But you always have your seam ripper if that happens. So we're going to make sure that we have our front sides facing each other, or the right side of our fabric, I think is the correct terminology, facing itself. So I'm taking the back and pinning it onto the front. And I will say that this has actually been very easy, the sewing project. I highly encourage people that are interested in sewing doll clothes to try this McCall's pattern. In fact, as easy as this has been to follow, I'm probably going to get some grown-up size patterns for myself to follow. Most of my experience with sewing is more embellishing than actually sewing, but my motivation for sewing this little outfit is we have a dear little friend who loves American Girl dolls, and she's pretty special to us. She's a cancer survivor, and so when we can, we try to do something nice for this child. All right, let's just do this one part at a time. I think it'll make it easier. So let's see, let's go ahead and pull our sewing machine over here. And I have a similar color of fabric. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch this part together, and then I'm going to stitch this part together. And it looks like it's about a 1/2 inch. It's pretty small. I'm going to keep this seam pretty small here. Yeah, not quite a 1/2 inch. It's probably closer to a 1/4 inch. A little misleading when you look at the picture. And I find it really handy to have a little pair of scissors like this. It makes it great for trimming threads. So we can undo this part. And they don't actually have it quite in this order, but I'm going to go ahead and do this side while I have this pinned together. It just seems to make good sense to me. So I go in reverse, and then I go forward. And I come to the edge of the fabric, and then I go in reverse again and forward to tie off my fabric. These are little scissors to trim. And you can see how this looks at this point where it's connected. Now we're going to go ahead and pin the other side. And again, make sure you connect the correct sides of the fabric together. You don't want to end up with reverse fabric, so I'm putting right sides together. I'll pin this to hold it securely. Let's move that pin cushion. And let's go over to our sewing machine now. We're going to stitch this top section and the side section. Move our pins, trim our thread. Let's go ahead and trim our thread. I don't know how many of you have a little caddy like this. It's got a weight here, and it's a little bag, and it just hangs off the side of your table. Makes it super easy for putting your thread scraps in. Keeps it a little cleaner here. So now you can see we have a little top forming. The next thing we're going to do is work on our sleeve. And the directions have us doing a basting stitch so we can gather right through this section. And there's a round mark there. That's to be able to line it up. That's the center. So I'm going to use my pen to do that on both pieces of fabric. mark the center. And it looks like we actually want to make this sleeve a little shorter, but that's fine. There's choices for E and for C and D. So we'll go ahead and trim this shorter. Actually, we'll do that before we get to doing the gathering. Let me just put this back on here, and I'm just going to fold this. Pin this back in place. So to do a basting stitch, we're just going to set our stitch length to a longer length. I think I'm going to do 5. See how that works out. And you can see where we clip the fabric. We're going to basically do that in between both clips here on each sleeve part. And make sure you leave yourself plenty of thread, because you'll be able to pull it that way. And I'm not going to reverse stitch because I want to leave the thread free flowing. All right, lift your needle up. Just pull this out. And let's just give this a little pull and see how this works. Oh yeah, this is going to work good. At least I think it's going to work good. It could probably work a little better, but we do have a little bit of gathering there, so I guess we're just going to go with that. It looks like it's going to work. So let's do the other side. Again, we want to give ourselves enough thread on the end and find our mark. Lift our needle up. Give ourselves plenty of room here. Just pull just a little bit. Oh, there we go. That one's working better for me than the other one. We have a little bit of gathering here, which is basically what we need. All right, let's go back to our directions. And this is the very first time I've done this pattern, so if I can do it, you can do it. So we're going to want to be pinning our sleeve to the main part at the top. And let's see if we can locate our notches. Okay, so this side, which is actually the front, has two notches. The back has one notch. So we're going to want to line our notches up. It's a little hard to see with this. Okay, so I have two notches here. I have two notches here. And if we were doing it this way, it would go inside out. Okay, very good. We really don't need that pin because we're going to line up with our notches. This is my most challenging part here, is lining stuff up properly. And I'm guessing I'm probably in good company. Actually, in the past when I've done this, I've always connected. We're going to do it this way. This is how I usually do it. I go ahead and make it so I close the sleeve. Find that much easier. So let's do that. Right, so put the right sides together. And actually, I think we can go ahead and trim this thread. It looks like it's holding our gathering just fine. So let's do that so we don't have these threads in our way. I would say for the whole project, this is the part where you have to be the most careful because you can accidentally sew your sleeves inside out so that your sleeves, you have the reverse side of the fabric showing where you want the front side. We're going to reverse stitch here and then forward stitch and reverse stitch. And because we're working with such tiny sleeves, I think it would be easier to go ahead and hem the bottom of the sleeve before we attach the sleeve to the main part of the shirt. So let's do that too. When my daughter was little, I made a lot of snowsuits. That is how I always did it. Still have a piece of thread here? I sure do. Get rid of that. If anybody has any great suggestions on how they do this, I'm all ears. It's always nice when we can help each other, learn together. So we're just going to turn this sleeve about 1/4 of an inch all the way around and hem it. There we go. Let's start right here. And this is probably one of the more tedious aspects of this, only because it's such a small sleeve. But I would say it's not impossible by any stretch. And it doesn't look like we actually have anybody joining us. So I think at this point, I'm going to go ahead and end the live stream and we'll just go ahead and go back to doing the shorts because I can tell right now that we had more participation when we did the shorts. So thank you. Hope some of y'all will start over from the beginning and check this out if you're wanting to do this with me. Thank you.